Hello, artists. We're going to continue talking about value, and once again, value is the lightness or darkness of a color. Okay. And this time we're going to talk about a gradation and making a gradation, which is pretty much a value scale. And you did that in the first part, but this in value scale applied to an object or shape. Okay, so we're gonna and we're this time, like for level 1, and this is if you did just level 1 the first time, this video is for you. And we're just going to talk about adding a gradation or the value scale added to some objects. We're just going to talk about two-dimensional shapes at this point. And this is an example that I did earlier today. You can do 2D geometric 2D shapes and just do dark to light across. You can do organic shapes and do dark to light across. These would be a little bit clearer if we had some dark shading on the other side, and that would help define that edge a little bit better besides the line. Oh, that looks pretty cool on my phone. So things usually look better from a little bit of a distance, and we'll see that if you're in person. If you're at home, it helps to like prop your paper up against something and then step away from it a little bit, like 10 feet or so. And then you really see how the shading, the values kind of help something become, transform into form instead of just a flat object. And that often, gradation, the value scale applied to an object or a shape, sometimes leads to form, as we said. And you'll see that as we go along. So for the circle here, or for the circle to make it look more spherical, I'm just going to freehand draw a circle, and then I want you guys to concentrate on your 3 values plus the white of the paper. Okay, so this will be the darkest dark. That'll be kind of a medium. This will be the lightest light, and this will be white, the white of the paper, and this is not the greatest white paper. For smaller shapes, like right here, using the point is okay. Just make sure you get it even. And I chose this pencil. I don't know if you can read it, but this says 4B. Okay, it says 4B right there. A regular yellow pencil is 2B. So this is a softer lead because the number is higher. If it says H next to the number, that is a hard lead, and the higher the number, the harder the lead, and the lighter the mark that pencil will make. So we like the B pencils because they're soft. They are very, very soft, I guess. That's why we have a B for that, I don't know. I'm making that up. So for smaller shapes where, the edge, laying your pencil down would be too wide, then we can use the point of your pencil. And if you go a couple of different directions, it helps smooth out the texture of the pencil line. So far I've got my dark, I've got my medium, and this is going to be my lightest value that I color, or that I shade in with. And I'll show you another little trick here in a second. When you draw your shapes, try to draw your lines lightly. That's a little bit too dark. We don't want the lines to show up at all. And I'll try to do that better with my next one. So I can smooth this out a little bit by kind of rubbing. I can smooth out the pencil marks, and sometimes I can kind of get the color, the graphite to blend a little bit. Hang on just a second. Be right back. Went to get my eraser because I smudged a little bit right here. So I'm going to take my nice eraser that came in your kit. If you didn't bring it back, if you're in person and didn't bring it back to school, find it because it's an amazing eraser. Okay. So, rubbing with your finger. You don't want to rub it so much that the whole thing becomes the same value. You still want to have 3 distinct values, but that smooths out your marks a little bit and makes it look a little better. Okay, so I'm going to do a rectangle this time. I'm going to divide it into 4. And you are not limited in your final one, and for your practice here, you're not limited to up and down. Like this triangle comes from the point. Why not get out the creative juice and divide that up that way? How would that look? This is a bigger shape, so I'm going to lay my pencil on its side using my index finger to apply the pressure. And I'm still going to layer, even though my pencil is softer. I'm going to get the darkest dark I can out of this pencil for that section, and make sure I've gotten it even as possible. That's going to be part of the rubric, that your values are even. And my medium value. Go different directions to make my value even. And then my lightest value. Okay, I still drew too dark. I gotta work on that. So if I asked questions on this, so what could I do better? I'm going to work on making my lines lighter. Okay, so that's kind of what I want you to do. And as your skills improve, as you develop your craft, and that's what we're doing on this part by practicing. As you develop your craft, you can start pushing a little bit more and see if, okay, I've got 3 values there. Can I now, am I good enough at it now that I can make 4 values? I mean, if you mess up a little bit, who's gonna know, or who's gonna really care that you goofed up except for you? I would like to see you try. And then if you goof up, maybe I can help you figure out what's going wrong. So you can add more values in there. Oops, sorry about that. To create more. So start out with your 3 values plus white of the paper. Then try adding 1 or 2 more values as you practice. Like we did before, when you're finished and you've practiced, oh, and one more thing, try kicking it up a notch. And on my phone screen that I can see there a little bit, because I went from dark to light to dark, that makes this look curved. And if I stepped away from it closer than about 1.5 feet from my eyes to the paper, it would look curved there, you know, in real life too. So that's the same thing as these, except you're doing both directions. Yep. So I'm going to do like lightest light, the white of the paper, lightest value that I create with my pencil, medium, and then dark. And the more you divide it up and the more values you get, the better it's going to be. And that's all I did there, was just, I drew that and then I filled it in with darkest value, medium value, skip the middle one, light, medium, dark. So when you are done practicing, you feel confident in what you're doing with your using values to, to shade in a shape, just 2-dimensional shapes. Put your name and period. Photograph it from like the view that my phone has. My phone is staring down at my paper, and then I'm going to upload it to this assignment. And then you're done with this part. Next part will be planning out what you're going to draw for your final drawing. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.